Good afternoon, everybody. It's Lorraine Alternative Homesteading on July 2nd, 2025. I believe it is Wednesday. So I hope everybody's doing well. It's very humid here, a little breezy, sunny for a change. And I stumbled across some questions and answers on Quora that I thought were interesting, and I wanted to read them. They're all from a year ago. So the question is, before I get into the question, just remember I have a GoFundMe, and the GoFundMe is with regard to my cat rescue. I have not created the second GoFundMe that I mentioned that I would, and thank you for the subscribers and somebody else who has already donated money. I really appreciate it. And it's the GoFundMe is to help Freya's Cat Rescue relocate after tragic attack. And some people have questioned me, like, why is this happening to you? And I have no problem telling somebody personally on the phone, via email, or through my videos what's going on here in Jackson County, Kentucky. And I follow so many YouTube creators, and I don't always listen to them every day, but there was one I listened to, and he was talking about like strategic relocation. He's in New York City, and anybody that's still in New York City, you really need to get out of there. But anyway, none of my business. But so he was talking about relocating and buying land in rural communities. So I posted that I have land for sale in rural Kentucky, Jackson County, Kentucky. Now, I don't know if this is a perpetrator. Maybe we're just following the same channel. You never know. It's just a coincidence. But the only person that responds is, where in Jackson County? So I mentioned where, and they said, well, we're neighbors. I'm in the next town, and I want to get out of here. He wished me luck selling the property. He says, I want to move to the middle of Kentucky. He told me a couple of the reasons why, but, a lot of times people don't want to discuss it in a public forum, really what's going on. So he's not the only person who's mentioned, not living in this particular area. And I'm going to say it's mostly because of some of the people, of the organized crime, obviously. We've got three Mason clubs right here, lodges they're called. And they're always involved in organized crime, organized harassment, organized stalking, and bribing and threatening people. You have to join their little club and pay a fee. And I remember actually after I moved here, and I mentioned to my former real estate agent who sold me the property what was going on. And I couldn't believe what came out of his mouth, because I don't think I would ever hear anything like this in New Jersey. He says, well, you probably have to pay one of the local clubs. And it's like, what? I have to pay somebody? I have to pay some club membership to join the community? But I didn't really know what he meant at the time. And now I know. Now I know what he was referring to. The club. You're either in it or you're not in it. I'm not in the club, okay? So I'm obviously not in the club. But anyway, so this individual who lives in the town over, in the same county, said that he's looking to move within the next year to the middle of Kentucky. And I know that the western part of Kentucky is very different. That's where the capital is, where Senator Rand Paul lives, back over there and stuff. And it borders, I think, Missouri and a couple of other states there. The properties are still very affordable and stuff. Kentucky, in and of itself, is a very affordable place to live. If you're looking to bug out, if you're looking to buy land with no restrictions, where you can have farm animals and stuff like that, really buy land in Kentucky. Some parts of Kentucky are absolutely gorgeous, and I consider my property to be beautiful. I wouldn't have bought it if it wasn't. I mean, from my history, what I've mentioned about how I've earned money in the past on my own, is I bought and sold real estate. I have a really good eye for real estate. And when I saw this, I knew that I was going to make money. Little did I know that I had a pack of predators waiting for me when I got here to discredit me, slander me. Half these people are half my age. But yeah, so that in and of itself. But I am looking forward to moving from here. And this is what will happen is they're waiting to destroy my property a little bit more so they can really lowball me. But what's happening across the country is land is becoming more valuable than houses, real estate. People want land. They want land to bug out to. They want land with resources. And we've got trees all around us. We've got foraging, everybody around here, animals and stuff. Hey, when, the SHTF, we've got lots of raccoons that people can forage here. I have no problem with people take my raccoons, please. I've got way too many of them. I've got too many roosters too, so I'm happy to barter a rooster or 3 or 5 because I have way too many roosters. But yes, so this part of Kentucky, all of Kentucky is absolutely beautiful. You can buy rural land here, although it is increasing in price. Like I'm looking around even at land around here in other towns, and some of the land for just a couple of acres is going for way more per acre than what I'm selling mine for. So that's why I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful. And, with the help of ChatGPT, who has given me basically a strategic plan to sell my unique and valuable lands. Yes, about all the features that this property has. So I'm going to put it out there. If anybody wants land, knows of somebody who wants to purchase land, I will pay you a commission, cash. I will pay you commission cash. And ChatGPT says that since I have so much interference, I've got to get a new phone number. Any of you techie people out there that want to help me create new phone number that a third party cannot hack or get into, so that I could sell this property. And I'm probably going to sell this property to someone who has more money than the local criminals. Okay, so anyway, just putting that out there. So anyway, so yes, I've got a GoFundMe for that purpose, for relocation. I will have another one eventually. I also have, for the record, for anybody that wants to purchase EMF shielding products, I've got a discount code for Redemption Shield. Redemption Shield EMF protection. Our link, Freya Cat, will get you 10% off. Share with your friends. I've got the link in every one of my descriptions. It will get you 10% off of your purchase, and for every purchase we make, Redemption Shield will donate a couple of dollars back to Freya's Cat Rescue, so you will inadvertently be helping support our rescue. So I wanted to mention that. And I hope everybody had the opportunity to read Testimony Part 2 by Gina. Workplace setups, warning about innocent people are being framed. She clearly demonstrates how this was attempted to be achieved with her, and I applaud her for continuing to work at a daycare center for all of this time with these losers, these criminals trying to set you up. So let's get to the question at hand. What is the reason for law enforcement not intervening in cases of organized gang stalking? We're going to say organized harassment, organized stalking, vigilante stalking, community watch, all of those things. So this person who is responding has a bachelor's degree in science, graduated in 2015, and responds as follows: a year ago. Well, it depends on circumstance, because they could be behind a locally funded agency to investigate you without the messy legal stuff when attention is inevitably what happens. Organized stalking campaigners will, 9 out of 10 times, only do stuff to you that will mentally break you. Not physically, because that would be visual. Well, that's not true. I have the visuals all over my body, but I have nobody here to validate it except you guys. So I will show you once again these criminals with their directed energy weapon laser on May 1, 2024, under the guise of a cat attack who was attached to my legs that they were remote controlling, cut a 1-inch triangle in my right forearm. Mind you, before I moved to Kentucky, I had 0 scars on my body. And I'm going to show you here. 0 scars. So this is the scar that was left behind. You could see how large it was. And you could see that it was a nanosecond away from a vein. And I could have bled out. But you know, these energy weapons, these devices are precision. They are precision. So that's the scar that was left behind. From a triangle, a hole that was in my arm. And of course, they too took down the video where I actually showed you the photo, but they didn't take down David A's because David A flashed it before his screen when he interviewed me last. So anyway, and I appreciate that because that's evidence, and I have more than enough evidence about what they've done to my animals here too. The same hole in 4 different animals. How is that possible? So I disagree with this individual, but again, all targeted people are targeted differently. We all have different experiences to share. So I can only speak for myself. That this person's saying that they will only break you mentally, not physically, which would be visual. The mental then breaks down to physical. But it's only you in charge of your mental. So again, it's self-inflicted. Oh yeah, so let's blame the victim. Victim blaming, victim shaming. Trust me, the only way to combat these people is counter their attacks with similar strategy. Well, I totally disagree with that. In some ways, yes. But do we have directed energy weapons to zap upon them when they're driving down the county road shooting weapons at me? No. And do I want to? No. If you're being zapped, quote unquote, that means they are close by. Well, yeah, I know that. Always trust your gut. Worst case is it's 80% right. And I'll take that gamble any day over 50-50, LOL. You have to be your own law enforcement when it comes to this type of coward. I've spent so much money on technology, from air quality meters to gamma beta detectors. If you try to get law enforcement involved for being burned by a microwave, they will never come back. Now, I have never, ever mentioned that. No. So let's see what the comments were. 1 second, because a lot of these comments disappeared. I'm seeing that they just totally disappeared here. 1 second. Oh, here. Wait, 1 second. 1 second. I had like a whole list. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here's the response. And again, this is a year ago from somebody in Melbourne, Australia. Male. Says, because it's conducted on people who are involved in organized criminal activity, and those types are usually the most over-paranoid people. So it's easy to manipulate them with fear. They're paranoid for a good reason, because they have lots to hide. I don't, and I'm not part of any group, so I don't fear criminals or the police government. What they can do to unalive me, go ahead, effing do it, because I'm not playing any games. Haven't done anything that I deserve to be targeted and set up for murder. I also don't owe anybody a thing. And nobody owes me nothing either. Gang stalking is a cutting the life of their target short, using direct methods of abuse and manipulation on the target in order to basically own the person they target. They try to install non-reversible cognitive dissonance or dysfunction in the target by forcing them to interact with people who have schizophrenia and other personality disorders, including sociopathic tendencies. Like my neighbors. My neighbors are total nuts. And that's why I cannot live around here. Because I haven't met one person who isn't personality disordered, who doesn't have issues, who isn't immature. Even the veterinarian refused to give me a vet appointment. Her reason? I just don't get you. You're not friends with my friends, says the 30-something-year-old woman. Well, loser girl, little loser girl, how would I be friends with any of your 30-year-old friends? I'm in my mid-60s. How? Tell me how I would be friends with any of your friends. And you don't get me? You don't get me because you're half my age. You haven't learned anything about life yet. And even when you finally learn something, you still will not be of the same vibration as most of the targeted people. That's why you're a stalker. That's why you're a go along to get along. That's why you don't care about animals. So now another person says, and again, this is all a year ago. This is a male. He says, law enforcement is gang stalking. Someone is pissed that a person has apparently gotten away with something, and this is their way of making a person pay. I'm putting that out there for you guys because I know at least 6 to 8 women that this happened to. Military, either married to military or divorced a cop that was then placed in the program. Okay? 6 to 8 women. Okay, so I guess their exes are pissed. What do they get away with? Getting a divorce? Getting a divorce is getting away with something? Okay, I don't know what I've gotten away with. I haven't gotten away with a damn thing. So somebody is pissed that a person has apparently gotten away with something, and this is their way of making a person pay. You mean a person has to pay year after year after year after day, 24/7 for years? That's organized crime, and I've said it before. Even the old-time mafia didn't go after women and children. They had a little bit more couth. They had a little bit of their own sort of morality. He goes on to say it always starts within the system. And then when the ball is rolling, they simply sit back and let nature take its course. The system has been designed to really screw a person over, kind of like being on autopilot. People working inside the system, like lawyers, cops, judges, and politicians, you know, the Criminal Fraternity, you know, the legal Criminal Fraternity book that I've been reading to you, the Criminal Fraternity, lawyers, cops, judges, and politicians. They all understand this and know what to do to get the ball rolling. A simple entry in the right computer and everything falls into place. Remember, the system is designed to regulate and punish, which translates to deprive you of things. And when needed, it is like hitting a nitrous oxide switch on the sanctions in place. Then you have the basic grease balls, who are either snitches or bottom feeders, and they're advocates who will harass, rob, and molest you. And why? Because they know they can get away with it. And why? Because the cops are the one who oversees the sanction this activity. Therefore, call until you're blue in the face. You are on NC status. Nothing coming. Since they cannot deal with you the normal way, they come up with this and the intention is to make you live poor, alone, worried, alienated, to die the same way, or commit suicide, or fall for their bullshit. And then they can get you the normal way. This says a lot about the state of the minds of the people who are supposed to be protecting and serving. It is juvenile, self-centered, vindictive. It lacks integrity, shows no ability whatsoever to play by the rules, and like spoiled brats, they do not get their way. They will throw a shit fit and do and justify anything to get their way. All you have to do is watch these police auditor videos. Oh my goodness, you could see them have a little hissy fit saying like, you have to do what I say. I told you so. Like they're somebody's parents, and then half of them are drugged out on steroids. Life is a game. It comes with a set of rules. We all try to play the game the best we can, and nobody wins all the time. That is life. So to obsess on the fact that whatever reason somebody got past something because of those rules, so be it. There's a reason for it. Anything else is plain childish. So one person said, now this is 3 years ago. Why is the police involved in gang stalking? Aren't they supposed to protect us? And this is a male, 3 years ago. Hey there. It's my personal opinion that people misunderstand society quite a lot. There's this misconception that various institutions are there to protect us, while that may not be their primary concern. Think about it for a while. If you report something stolen, how likely is it that the police will investigate? I can tell you 0. If your reply is very, that means you live in a healthy and proper society governed by just and fair leaders. If the reply is, the case will be quickly closed and left unsolved, you live in standard Western society. If you read the news, you will notice which cases are given focus. If you have read the papers for decades, you will notice a pattern. Large corporations are given a lot of assistance. Murders are given attention if the victim was, quote unquote, someone of importance, meaning not a homeless person or an addict. It seems to me that just like HR, human resources, is there to protect the corporation from the employees and not to help the employee, though that's what they're supposed to do, the police are there to protect the rulers and sources of revenue. The more directly you're tied to sources of revenue or the ruling class, the more the police will be there with you. That's why my real estate agent said, maybe you need to pay off some group or club in your neighborhood. Yeah, right. Not in this lifetime. Targeted individuals, on the other hand, have been identified by corporations of the ruling class as a cause for concern, a threat to the ruling class, or to the corporations that bring in their revenue. Sort of like my father. He invented so many things when he worked at IBM in the International Research Department. My father did become targeted. I learned more recently that, yes, my father was targeted. His wife was targeted. They both worked at IBM. And my father invented stuff, and he was receiving threatening phone calls to not patent his ideas. And as far as I'm concerned, in hearing this, corporations of the ruling class. Okay, so there are 501c3 nonprofit feral cat cartel organizations. Now, I'm not talking about these little kitty organizations like my own self. I'm talking about the ones that bring in millions of dollars by defrauding donors. I won't say anything more. But yes, they see other people, sort of like Michaela Raines, as a threat. Have you noticed that all the people that have been putting out tributes to her are regular people, lovers of foxes, little people like you and I. Have you seen $1 million organization write anything about her? One wildlife organization? Not one. Zero. None. Why? You always know who's involved. They give themselves away every day. A threat to the ruling class or to the corporations that bring in their revenue. As such, they're identified as the enemy. And the police function in another role that to oppress and harass. To put it bluntly, a targeted individual is treated as a criminal. Now, targeted individuals are not criminals. So the police act very cautiously. And they should. Because you fuck with the right or wrong targeted person, or you do the wrong stuff, you'll be called out. And there will be some lawyer out there that is more than willing to blast the story all over the internet. Sort of like the civil rights lawyer on YouTube, who managed to get a lot of cops fired, lose qualified immunity. They know that if they are caught red-handed, the blowback will be intense unless they manage to bury the case. That concludes my answer. The below are just some extra opinions of mine. Okay, so this again is from 3 years ago. These are some opinions. They're not my opinions. I'm reading. This is for educational purposes only. Having followed the targeted individual community for a longer period of time, it seems that the following types of people are often targeted. 1. Hackers. 2. Engineers and leaders that know too much. 3. Ex-spouses of elite that have some sort of claim to their fortune. 4. Ex-partners of narcissists that are part of the harassment network. 5. Those perceived as undesirables, alcoholics, addicts, immigrants, and the like, living in a quote-unquote a protected community. I actually believe that Nikola Tesla was a targeted individual based on the following facts. I agree. Just like John Forbes Nash, the mathematical genius, the Princeton professor, was not schizophrenic. He was targeted. I actually believe Nikola Tesla was a targeted individual based on the following facts. Nikola Tesla was tricked by the Freemason Thomas Edison and got angry at Edison. Nikola Tesla became a competitor of Edison's with a superior product and a superior engineering talent. Whatever Tesla attempted failed, even though Tesla had superior skills. Knowing the targeted community, the psychological burden of the harassment makes us partially or completely dysfunctional. Because it's unbelievable that somebody would do something like that to us. FBI journals state that Tesla... Oh, you're not going to believe this, guys. I'm reading this for the first time and I'm blown away. My favorite Bureau of Investigation, they have journals that state that Tesla was an alien from Venus. I kid you not. Do your own research. I'm reading this for the first time, and this would be really interesting. Now I'm going to have to get his birth chart, date, time, and place, and I'm going to have to analyze his chart, see where Venus is in this chart. 80 years later, it's obvious bullshit, but agents at the time believed it. Gang-stalking 101 dictates that the target must be smeared and vilified, calling the most brilliant engineer of all time an invading alien surely a smear. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, and remember, in New Jersey, I was the skinny little whore because I was the first woman on the block to get a divorce. And then, of course, after I did it, it became quite popular. And my neighbor got divorced and moved away. Then my neighbor across the street got divorced and moved away. They just needed a little egging on to leave their sorry-ass husband. So I guess I had to be the forerunner. But I'm the only one that I believe is targeted. This smear campaign was put in motion to paint Nikola Tesla as a quote-unquote, a pigeon, pigeon like the bird, a pigeon lover. There was no need to smear the brilliant man in such a way. Actually, judging from the Epstein case, the elite, I call them deletes, is sheltered from smear. Even if they, I don't know if I could say this, hump, those young people, those little young people. As we all know by now, the fact that so much smear circulated about Tesla implies that he was targeted. I agree with that. And narcissists use the smear campaign as their number one tool against anyone that they don't like, that they feel threatened by. Threatened meaning that you got a better idea than them. Sort of like my being able to blow the whistle, so to speak, blow the bullshit of the trap, neuter, return community. What a crap of bull. But they profited off of all the stupid people out there that thought trap, neuter, return was saving lives. No, 30% of their victims, their cat victims, ended up dying in the process by stupid people with no training. Throw cats back out after major surgery, ear tipping, cutting into the nervous system in the ears, giving them a head tilt, neurological damage of these young cats, throwing them back out in the wild with nobody to care for them, and 30% drop dead. Applaud to that multi-million-dollar feral cat cartel out there. You got over on the public on that bull crap TNR, trap, neuter, return garbage. But anyway, maybe that's why I'm targeted. The smear campaign was put in motion to paint Tesla's inventions as dangerous and irresponsible. That's why they were stolen from him and used now, right? Thomas Edison even went so far as to electrocute. Okay, I'm reading this for the first time. Animals with AC power to prove how dangerous Tesla's inventions were. And this is how they love to torture animals. And the fun fact is, the next time you are stuck in a job interview, remember that the infamous Freemason Thomas Edison put you there. Since Edison was the inventor of job interviews. I'm learning that for the first time. And another person says, who organized gangs for targeted individuals? This is a year ago. It makes me seethe with rage, with violence, uncharacteristic fits of anger, filled with harsh retaliations. When it's proven that it was a direct attack by a group of people who want you, they want your name to suffer. People who get up and meet in a room across town to specifically say your name and speak about you. Like the local Freemason groups around here. They leave their symbols all around my property. You don't think I know who you stupid idiots are? You drove onto my driveway. And when I walked down to see why you were trespassing my driveway, you had the audacity to say to me, why did you approach my car? Because you're on my friggin' driveway. I knew that was a Freemason. He couldn't even look me in the eyes. He had to look around me. It's not the first time it happened. People who get up and meet in a room across town specifically say your name and speak about you. They're there to design a plan to enact such a plan, according to science and proven military and Cold War tactics to damn you to death, jail, nut house. They offer such a high level of harassment with a well-organized course of actions planned specifically to impede your daily ability to prosper and succeed by literally stripping you of your constitutional civil liberties. It causes stress, drama, pressure. This level of harassment is reducing their target's natural life by 30%. And ChatGPT said I should be living till my mid-90s. According to my diet, my family history, I should be living to my mid-90s. So obviously that's going to be reduced by 30%. They're good at what they do. They work in teams and individuals alike. They're your friends, your coworkers, your family, close family even. You know, like my cousin Arlene. We'll get into that, and that's going to be a separate video because I need to record this as evidence of the one person in my family that I always suspected that my mother would say, no, 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 it's no, no, always defends her. I'm going to save that for another day because you will be shocked by some of the things this family member has done in her lifetime to get to where she is today. They're good at what they do. They work in teams, independent businesses, government-run businesses, all the way down to fast food restaurants, all the way up to Delta Airlines and beyond. They have staff. Or harassers, quote unquote, as I call them. They do a lot of things. Not all the employees, but usually at least a few. They will actually lead someone into your life as neighbors, of friends, to simply bring stress and chaos into your daily life. Just stop worrying. I mean, literally. Be aware, but don't participate. Research makes it easier, so to speak. Meaning research. Read the articles and books that I've read on this channel, right? So this is the best question ever. Unfortunately, they have some involvement, particularly managing the criminals who are compiled to do these things, disgusting things, to public targets they desire to harass and terrorize. There's a lot more to gang stalking, like the advanced technology, microwave mind control technology, and data demographic computers for that activity. So guess who provides these things to these depraved, motivated criminal terrorist monsters among us? Did my answer help you and others? Because your question definitely did. Is gang stalking demonic? Yes. In all senses of how you perceive demonic, it is that. It's all that. And then much more. It's evil, it's dark, even darker and weirder than your imagination has probably been to. And for what seems like no apparent reason except sheer evil and greed, the things being done are going to shake the core of every human on the planet once it is fully realized. It is sick, evil, horrifying, inescapable, heavy, scary. This is scary stuff. So it is so outside of the norms of humanity that it may take a year to really grasp what is happening. By that time, the dark entities have already invaded your space. Yes, actual demons. This was written 5 years ago. 5 years ago this was written. The things you can't see, but yet you can. The shape-shifting, the energy you feel is there in the room, but your mind tricks you until you happen to photograph it or videotape it, like we all have. You won't believe what you see. And every time you won't believe it. Just when you think they're breaking in your front door to steal from you, you realize they're not using the door at all. But they're still getting in. They are there. You can hear them. And you know they've been there, but you can't prove it yet. So people, don't believe you. No cop, no hospital, no friends, no family. Your neighbors are in on it too. They've been in your computer already since it started, and your phone too. Oh, I can prove they've been in my phone. They've been in your computer. No anti-anything will work. No evidence is safe. If you save things on your laptop either, you can't escape it. There are many levels and phases and things the entities are involved. Some will surely look like people. They'll look just like your mom and your dad, but what comes out of their mouths and their eyes is nothing you have ever heard from them or seen. They won't believe you, and they won't have your back. So now you're alone. You step outside and are attacked by the things that only you see and feel. You are sick, weak, tired, fired, broke, all alone from what appears to be your own country and parts of the military. Your whole family and your religion all turned against you, and no one will believe it except us. And that is the reason you can't give up or let them see you down. The millions of other TIs who woke up, and keep waking up. It gets worse before it gets better. There are several things involved, as I mentioned. It's physical, spiritual, black magic. It's out of this world. It's shape-shifting. It's your cat's eyes glowing yellow as the sun at night. When they use your cats, your own cats, for the spells they put on you to destroy you even more. Sigh. Sorry, it's a lot to take in. But I found that if I would have gotten it straight like this from the beginning, I would be farther ahead. So, there you have it. We won't know where it started. And we don't know why. We don't know why we're targeted. The gang stalking is really just the beginning. That's just there for show, to make you think you're losing it. I honestly don't think they're real. But yet they are physically real, just soulless. They're doing the work for their father, just like we are, if you're a Christian. Yeah, it's demonic. And then topped with black magic and darkness, covered in the more dark stuff. Now, this is my personal experience and many others. However, we are seeing trends. I do not get the voice to skull stuff. That's the voices they put in your head. I don't get that. I just get the mind control, the breaking in and stealing for 2 years. Only 2 years? You lucky ducka. You lucky duck. They've been stealing from me way longer than 2 years. In my car, which is vandalized regularly, my home, my property, my 3 storage units, and everything that is owned, sacred to me, has been polluted by them, then blasted with EMF, radiation, sonar, microwave energy, which makes me paralyzingly sick, and literally everything in my life manipulated and violated and disrespected. Everything. But we're targeted for some reason. There has to be a greater purpose here. I'm not a whistleblower. I have no idea how I got on this list. But I am a female fitting the demographic who lives alone with a stellar job. And I had life by the balls. I really did. Now I have nothing. No home, job, friends. I live with my parents who never speak ill, telling me to get the F out of their house. That's what happened to Jessica Thomaston. Yeah, her mother called 911 to get her taken to the loony bin. She's still there after a year. 2 years ago, I traveled the world for work. I saw the Taj Mahal, Stonehenge. Now I live with this, if you call it living. Again, I digress. I apologize for the words that are probably scaring the crap out of you. You're targeted for a reason. We have a job to do. You have something that these demons want. They want you on their side. They can't get what you have. They sold their souls long ago, but you have a chance still. Stick to what you do and what you know. Even if it means standing alone, put the armor of God on and walk out there like you know what you have to do. There are Tons of resources now online. Message me if you want to chat. There are millions of us, millions. You are never alone. Get connected and keep people in the loop of your safety and sanity. We are fighting a civil war against an invisible enemy. Well, and yeah, and your criminal neighbors and your local law enforcement and your county lawyer, yeah. Your whole little community of psychopaths. We're the new face of terrorism in the spiritual war, and history says it's not going to be pretty, but it will be worth it for us if we follow the plan. Learn meditation or self-guided mindfulness. It will save you on the dark days. Namaste, my fellow warrior. So I hope you enjoyed this Quora question and answer of why the police, why the sheriff's department doesn't investigate your crimes. And is gang stalking demonic? Well, it obviously is. Who are the types of people that are targeted? Well, we've got here men and women talking about the same thing. And we're not talking about a couple hundred or a few thousand. There are millions of us. And I spoke to somebody on the phone, I guess about a month ago. And I said for an estimate of how many of us are targeted. I said, what, like 3 or 4 million? And he got really quiet on the phone. He says, no, hundreds of millions. And I was like floored. Hundreds of millions of people are targeted. Hundreds of millions. So there are a lot of us. We need to speak out, band together, and banish these evil spirits around us. Please leave a comment down below. Do you have something to add to these questions and answers? Do you agree, disagree? And we're on 46 minutes. I've got to sign off and actually go check on my animals. And I hope everybody's having a good day. I'll talk to you guys soon.